Hello. It's Monday, the 21st of August. I should be more prepared with the date. Sorry about that. Welcome to the show. It's 7 o'clock. I always start at 7 o'clock. So if you're here, you should know that. If you're here and you're not subscribed, we'll start right away with saying, go hit that subscribe button, whatever it is. I guess it's not a button, whatever. Hit the little subscribe uh, indicator thing on there and become part of the show. Jump into the live. Hey, what's up, Joe? Joe's here already. Nice to see you, buddy. Yeah, jump into the show right away. Get in the chat like Joe has already. Like the videos if you like them. Just hit the like uh, indicator thing on it, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so I'm just saying, got a few things to talk about this week, but not really politics. I'm going to kind of stay away from politics. I'm going to touch a little bit on the Bidens finally going to visit Maui. It's only been burning for 2 weeks. They appreciate you taking some time out of your precious schedule to address that. So good job. I'm going to talk about the that viral song that you've probably already heard about, "Rich Men North of Richmond." It's yeah, we'll talk about that, and it's actually hit number one, so that's kind of cool if you like that sort of thing. We're going to talk about something you might not have heard about because I just heard about it, to be honest. Some little douche in Ohio, little chickie, little teen chick, decided she'd crash her car into a wall with a couple of dudes in the car, and she killed them, not herself, unfortunately. So we'll talk about that, and she got convicted and such. So yeah, we'll discuss that whole car crash, pun intended. Also, yeah, I don't know what I can say about this, so I always try and mince my words when I'm talking about the vid, because you never know what kind of censorship's going to happen when you bring up that topic. But it looks like the masking mandates are starting to rear their ugly head again. Starting in the UK and some choice places around in North America are starting to do it. We'll talk about that and some of the reasoning behind that and the absurdity. Also, if you haven't noticed or you have noticed, like I have, weather forecasting just seems to have gotten worse. This is just sort of anecdotal since I don't know. I don't have a bunch of information based on how it used to be. It just seems like it used to be better. Now it's like even day to day, it'll say, in the morning it'll say it's not going to rain. Suddenly it rains in the afternoon, and I don't know what the reasoning for that is. Space lasers, who knows? I don't know. But we'll talk about that a little bit, and something that probably won't you won't care about, but I'm going to talk about a little pop culture type thing. I've gotten to like this new artist, Patrick Droney. His name is. If you haven't heard of him, he's like a John Mayer. If you've, I'm sure you've heard of John Mayer. Whether you like him or not, you've heard of him. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit about him and sort of his what he's doing and how he's kind of moving into the scene and whatnot. So um, okay, before we get started, I'm going to read a little. What's Joe saying here? This is why I'm going to be streaming on Rumble in the next few weeks. You don't have to worry about censorship too much. So oh, just don't show porn if you drop an N bomb. Just do it in a rap. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, the only problem with Rumble I find is I've streamed over Rumble and it's kind of weird. Like there'll be a decent amount of views on the stream, but then some of the videos that I'll go to upload, they don't upload in a timely manner. So I don't know. Rumble's a little bit of a weird thing for me. I like it and I like the idea. Just I'm not sure if they've proven the concept yet. So yeah, but we are on Rumble technically. I don't think the live broadcasts are there anymore, but I could upload them over there, but we'll see. YouTube's been pretty good with me as far as not really hammering me as far as shadow bans or any of that kind of stuff. So um, we'll just see. We'll see with my language how it goes. But all right, so without further ado, I'm gonna get into this first topic here. This viral hit from what's his name, Anthony Oliver, or sorry, Oliver Anthony or something. Let me see here. Oliver Anthony. He's actually not his real name. His real name's a little something different, but This song's been out for a couple weeks now. It's I don't know if you haven't heard it already. I don't. It's not my kind of music, but it's pretty catchy. It's like a full country type song. But he's talking about what he deems as the current sort of um, political environment and the uh, just I guess kind of where the U.S. is right now, or how he feels where the U.S. is right now, and I think it's striking a nerve with a lot of people. It's like really hitting a chord. So it's debuted at number one. It's got a crazy amount of downloads and um, uh, I guess and purchases or whatever. So I'm going to read this article a little bit, and then I'm actually going to read the lyrics of this song because if you if you just hear the lyrics on their own, it's pretty good. Um, whether you like the song or not, whether you like this type of music, because again, this type of music's not my cup of tea, but it is a catchy song. So here we go. This article is by the New York Times. As I always say, take it with a grain of salt. I just like reading stuff from these kind of article or these kind of journalism, whatever you want to call them, outlets. Just because they're with this kind of stuff, they tend to be a little bit chirpy, and it's kind of funny to see what they say on sort of on the left hand side. But here we go. So Richmond, north of Richmond, an independently released track by a little-known performer billed as Oliver Anthony Music became the surprise number one song in the United States this week, topping hits superstars like Taylor Swift, Morgan Wallen, and Olivia Rodrigo. The song, which was uploaded to YouTube just 2 weeks ago, caught fire with conservative commentators including Matt Walsh and Laura Ingraham, described it as an authentic expression of working class struggle through some critics, although some critics winced at anti-welfare sentiments that seem to hark back at the Reagan era. If you're 5'3", this is one of the lyrics in the song. If you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not pay for your bags of fudge rounds. It's kind of funny. His actual name is Christopher Anthony Lunsford, but okay, so Richmond shoots to the top of Billboard's Hot 100 singles charts with 17.5 million streams and 147,000 downloads. Wow, that's crazy. According to the tracking service Luminate, after Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town, so there's another song. So, people are, this is the shift I think that we're seeing now. That people are starting to get really sick of the culture, I think, and there's this pushback, it's called a conservative pushback, but really it's not a conservative pushback. It's a pushback to moderate, to the middle. People enjoy the middle. People like the idea that you can be conservative, but conservative centrist, and I can be liberal centrist, and we can all get along just fine, and there's none of this polarizing shit. But the problem is now what they try and do is they see something like this and they go, "Oh, it's a conservative movement, and it's the right wing," and they say all this kind of stuff just to dismiss it, or or to to criticize it, just to make people feel like if you are that moderate person and you do resonate with something like this, you're gonna go, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just shut up. You're saying something about this song, or maybe whatever. But people are quietly, obviously, watching it, or buying it, or whatever, right? So they're quietly supporting it, but you know, it's this back. It really is like part of this backlash of saying like enough's enough. We're done with this bullshit. Um, you know, division, I guess you'd say. But okay, so anyways, so really that's kind of it for this article. It just goes on to talk about other songs and stuff. But I'm gonna read, like I said, I'm gonna read the let me see, I got the lyrics up on my phone here, and I'm gonna read them just because they're really quite they're quite cool. Okay, so here it is. This is just the lyrics. I'm just gonna read them, obviously. So this is not with any kind of music to it, but it says, I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. So, it's not very clever as far as the rhyming thing there. He says away twice, but whatever. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me and people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an old soul, these rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just want to have total control. Want to know what you think, want to know what you do. And they don't think you know, but I know that you do because your dollar ain't shit and it's taxed to no end because of rich men north of Richmond. So you can see that it's a political song. It's like but this kind of thing is hitting in there because people realize that you know this is a way of of outing this kind of thing quietly, you know, in media, right? Or in song, and it's not like overt right out in your face, right? So I think people just like that kind of like the message being quiet. Here's the second chorus or second verse. I wish politicians would look out for minors and not just minors on an island somewhere. I like that. It's funny. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground because all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. So it just goes back to the chorus, but you can see that it's hitting a couple nerves, I think there, um, which is nice to sort of see somebody actually talking about this. He talks about basically like um, that refers to um, this young men killing themselves, right? Um, so yeah. So Joe's asking, do you think the divide can be bridged? Yeah, I do. I think we are right now. I think we're starting to bridge the divide. I think media or I think songs like this, whether you like it or not, whether it's your type of music or not, which it isn't my type of music at all, um, I'll support it because I like the message behind the song. But I think this is the kind of stuff that moves the needle back, right? People go, okay, well, enough's enough, and they just see these pushes one way or the other, whether you're insanely on the right or you're insanely on the left. They see this kind of thing, and then you see the middle kind of say, all right, you know what, let's just kind of push off this noise that we hear from both these crazy sides. So good on this song. I'm glad it hit number one. Again, not my type of music, but it's it's good. It's good for the culture, I think. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing here. Talk about here. I need somebody to do this for me. So this okay, here we go with this what's her name? Mackenzie Shirilla. So I just literally heard about this. I find this quite disgusting. What this little broad did. So if you're not aware, I'm going to read this article. Actually, before I read the article, I'll give you a little sort of uh, bring you up to speed. So this girl, I guess last year in July, 2022, she decided for whatever reason she was going to run her car at 100 miles an hour into a wall with her boyfriend in the car and a friend in the back seat. She survived. Her boyfriend and the friend died. So of course she's being tried. She's been convicted. I'll read this article now. That kind of brings you up to speed here. Um, so it says here, Hell on Wheels teen who killed boyfriend and his friend and crashed sentenced to 15 years to life. Okay, so Mackenzie Shirilla was convicted of murder in July 2022 crash that killed her boyfriend Dominic Russo, 20, and his friend Davion Flanagan, 19. So the Ohio teenager dubbed Hell on Wheels, who was convicted of intentionally crashing her car at 100 miles per hour into a building, killing her boyfriend and his friend, was sentenced to uh, two concurrent 15 years to life sentences Monday. That's brutal that it's concurrent. I hate that it's concurrent. They should be back to back. So there's concurrent and then there's consecutive. Consecutive just means boom, boom, right? You attach them to each other, so it'd be 15 years to life and then another 15 years to life. I don't think concurrent makes any sense in this case. You have two different people that were victims of this person. I think they should be treated, you know, individually. So you get 15 years, you're done that 15 years, you start another 15 years. So, but anyways, so this judge decided it was going to be concurrent. Whatever. Mackenzie Shirilla, 19, was sentenced on murder charges in the deaths of her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, 20, and Davion Flanagan, 19. She will receive credit for time served and have her driver's license permanently suspended. Yeah, I guess so. Her sentencing comes 1 week after she was convicted in a bench trial on 12 counts, including murder for the July 2022 crash. Sharilla, then 17, geez, drove without breaking into a brick building in the Cleveland suburb of Strongsville. The passengers, Russo and Flanagan, were pronounced dead at the scene. If you see this car, I don't have it. Oh, maybe is it down here? No. Go look at what this car looks like. I don't have an image of it right now, and I'm not gonna grab it. Sorry. Uh, it's a mangled mess. Um, and then the video. There's a video out there, but it's just surveillance video from another building that shows the car like blaring by. It doesn't really show it hit or any that kind of thing. But the thing about this chicken, she actually had claimed she made threats before that she was going to do this. So she basically made good on her threats. This it's a disgusting case. Like I said, I know a little bit about it because I've kind of delved into it over the last, like, basically I learned about this over a day. So I kind of delved into it a little bit, but um, she she seems to be disturbed. This girl seems to be disturbed. She has TikToks and stuff where she talks about, like, she can take all these drugs and different things. And but this is an element of society right now. This lack of um, I don't know. It's like they have this titlement and this lack of consequences for anything that they do, which is just it's disgusting. It's like for her to say that she was gonna do something like that, and then she makes good on it, is it's premeditation. I don't know how it's only 15 years, to be honest. It should just be a life sentence. Just throw the book on this girl. She's old enough to make all kinds of adult decisions at 17. She made a decision to drive a car into a wall. If you're too stupid to know what the consequences of a decision like that could be or most likely will be, well, that's too bad. I don't think we should placate to the stupid. If you're dumb and you don't know something, well, too bad. You ought to know something like that. And if you don't, well, then you're either mentally R word. I'll refrain. I love using that word. Sorry, in the real. I won't use it on YouTube. But anyways, yeah, you're mentally. So yeah, just throw the book at her. Put her in jail. Let that suss her out, and just be done with it. At this point, I don't think. I mean, she's young now, so my guess is she's probably going to do the 15 years, maybe a little bit more time or something. And she's probably out by like mid-30s, just in time to get back on TikTok, probably. It's kind of disgusting, this story. When I read it, it was just, can you imagine being in a car with somebody? There's an element of trust, obviously. Someone's driving, and then they just decide they're gonna hammer the gas and slam into a wall. Like, what are you gonna do? You can't do anything about it. You just Here you go. And I guess it was pretty early too. It was like 5:30 in the morning or something like that. But so good luck. Good luck being awake enough to even know what the hell's happening. Anyways, I think that's an element of our society right now that it's an ugly element that I wish we would do something about. Rearing kids, but doesn't seem like we're going to. All right, well, I'm gonna talk about this. This is a sad state of affairs. I guess masks are going to be a thing again. So I thought we were done with them. I mean, I thought it was like you had people that were going to be basically you know, the you know, the fringe of society that were going to wear masks for whatever reason. I mean, some people wear masks for legitimate reasons. They have immune uh, they're immune or compromised, something like that. And fine, that's fine. I'm not hating on those people at all for that. Um, it's But that should be a choice, shouldn't it? I mean, shouldn't we just decide whether or not we want to wear masks? Or, you know, I know people will make this argument with, like, seatbelts and stuff and say, "Oh, you can't decide whether you're going to wear a seatbelt or not." Well, okay, but I don't know. Like, I just think if I'm going to put something, I have to put something on my face that may or may not do anything. I should make that decision. But all right, anyways, so this my tirade's over. I'll read this article. This is the dailymail.com. Yeah. I yeah, I can't say anything good about these guys, but they write articles. So let me read it. Here we go. So gloomy scientists call for people to start wearing vid masks again as they sound alarm over new variant BA6 that has a lot of new mutations. So experts today sounded alarm over a fresh vid wave after detecting a variant that has a lot of new mutations. Can't seem to say that word. Some UK scientists known for making gloomy predictions earlier in the pandemic. Oh, great. Those guys are so concerned they have advised people to mask up again. The new substrain, which doesn't have an official name but has been dubbed BA6, has only been spotted in 2 countries so far, Denmark and Israel. So let's just start to panic. Um, anyways, but it is causing concern among some due to the number of mutations it has on its spike protein, the piece of the virus that vaccines were designated to target, or designed to target. The variant may make shots less effective if it has evolved to look different enough from its ancestral strain Omicron, though most experts argue no new strain will completely escape immunity from vaccines and prior infection. I think at this point, pretty much everybody's had it. I know there was a few holdouts of people I knew, but they ended up getting it. I think natural immunity might be kind of a thing right now. So, you know, again, like enough with this, but you can see this chart here. So this is the chart. It shows this right here where I'm pointing. This is August of 2020, April of 2021. You can see it drops drastically. Then November of 2021, you see it starts to go back up again, spikes again, probably the end of year 2021. This is hospitalizations. And then we've got a little spike down. You can see it. Then it's down, right? And then this is deaths by week, right? So you can see that spike. This is 2021. Now we're into late 2021, and then it's just down. Basically, at this point, I would think it's probably like the flu, but I don't know the numbers exactly. It, but as you can see, it's dropped quite a bit. Do we need to? Do we need to get back on the mask thing, on the mask train? I don't know. Uh, this is pretty preliminary, and this is a few different sort of articles talking about it, and I know there's a couple of different places. Like I think there's somewhere in like Seattle or something like that. That of course, pushing the mask mandates. I'm sure there are isolated pockets of different places in like LA and things like that, or just in California in general. Some of the sort of more blue states, or the states that maybe had a willingness to go along with these kinds of mandates. And I know up here where I'm up in the Great North, we seem to be fully um, willing to go along with any kind of mandate set our way. So I think this could be a real thing coming back. I know I'll be holding out. So and I know a lot of people that I don't think second time around are going to be too keen on going along with these kind of mandates, especially any kind of shutdowns or anything. So, but we'll see how it goes. All right. Well, I talked about gloomy old COVID uh, stuff. Let's get into the next thing to talk about here. This is where I get into politics. I tried to just stay away from politics this week. I'm just burned out with all the stuff. And there's nothing really new to talk about as far as politics right now. It's kind of like the dog days of summer, if you will, with the electro like the GOP race. I mean, they're doing they're running around doing they're doing podcasts, and all the different guys are doing podcasts and things like that, and they're trying to get their names out there, and and of course the Trump indictments are still happening, and all that jazz. But nothing really new right now, so I didn't really want to just like slam into politics unless I had to. But we've got this old bird. Let me see if this is this gonna. Oh, here we go. Okay. So we got the Bidens have finally decided to go to Maui. And I guess they didn't cut their vacation short. We wouldn't want them to do that. I mean, he probably just forgot anyway. heard about a fire and went, oh, something's burning. Something smells like it's burning. So, anyways, so they went to see what's happening there. Thanks for finally being presidential and doing something. This is from Maui now, so this is like a local sort of, I guess, this is a local media outlet type thing for Maui, so you get a little bit more information from this. This is talk it goes into all the different stuff. I'm not going to read all the stuff. It goes into like evacuation procedures and all that kind of stuff. Like they talk about it all. Um, that's pertinent to local people, obviously dealing with this. But I'm going to read this article, the part that actually means something to us, the Biden visit. So Maui wildfire disaster updates for August 21st, the President Biden visit. So, recovery efforts continue in Maui where wildfires decimated the historic Lahaina town in West Maui, leaving a path of destruction spanning an estimated um, 3.5 square miles. Multiple fires on the island were sparked on August 8th and were fueled by strong winds and dry air as a hurricane passed well south of the islands. Yeah, so I guess there was a hurricane a couple hundred miles down, and it was bringing all this wind, which was helping the fire spread. It's always something bullshit like that. Unfortunately, when something bad happens, it's like, oh, here we go. Here's a little push from Mother Nature or something to help it along. But yeah, anyways. So today, 3 of those fires remain active with crews monitoring for flare-ups and hotspots. The death toll from the Lahaina fire remains at 114, with the identity of 11 victims publicly released by police since the investigation began. The wildfire is described as the nation's deadliest in 100 years. I think it's something like other reports were saying something like a total of I don't know, 800 people or something might be dead or something. I don't know. I don't know if this is more of a local thing here, but excuse me. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden will visit Maui today to observe the impact of the Maui fires and join the state in mourning the devastating loss of life and land that has occurred across the island, as well as to discuss next steps in the recovery efforts. While on the ground, the President, First Lady, and Governor Josh Green will meet with first responders, survivors, and federal, state, and local officials. The Lahaina Gateway Distribution Center for Food, water and supplies, and the Waihuku uh, Donation Center at the Queen. Oh God, I can't read this stuff. Hawaiian word. Shopping center resume operations today after Sunday closure for staff. See, this is where it kind of gets into like local stuff. Anyways, so it says at the time of this announcement, there are 114 confirmed fatalities, with 85% of the disaster area searched. Maui police have identified 11 individuals publicly following notification of next of kin, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, so then they go into listing who they are. That's sad. I hate when they do that. I mean, obviously they have to, but it's just sad to actually read names and you're like, oh, there's some names to people. So the Olinda fire, now 85% contained, 1,081 acres burned. The Maui Fire Department is assisting the State Division of Forestry and Wildlife with its joint firefighting effort. The Kula fire, now 85% contained, 202 acres burned. And the Lahaina fire, now 90% contained and 2,170 acres burned. Whew, wow, that's a crazy amount. It's just a crazy amount of uh, just I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. There was one time where I was driving up through northern Ontario and I saw there was a section of where there were forest fires at one point, and you could just see like all the burned trees. Like just for it was literally for we deal in kilometers up here, but for my states people watching, literally for miles, probably 10 solid miles driving, you could just see that it was burned out, all trees burned out. So I could imagine what this would look like. This would just look like Armageddon. So my heart goes out to these people. Apparently, so they haven't. There hasn't been any. Um, they don't know exactly what started these fires or anything at this point. There's speculation, but apparently they're looking into a theory of that it might have been some downed power lines, and there might be some culpability on like the Hawaiian power. I forget what's the name here. I think I wrote it down here. Um, yeah, the Hawaiian Electric. As far as maybe some culpability on their end for starting the fires. I don't know. We'll see. But Maybe space lasers. I don't know. I'm just put it out there. We got some Northwest Territory fires up here in Canada. I think it's space lasers. I think or somebody with one of those little laser things, maybe pointed at a tree or something. I don't know. I shouldn't joke with this. I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. Uh, what's Joe? What are you saying here? It was Chinese space lasers that started the Maui fire. See, well, you're bad too. Okay, stop making jokes. This is not funny. Fires are not funny unless you're making fun and it's funny, but it's not. No, legit. I'm not laughing at the people that are dealing with this shit. That sucks. I'm just making stupid jokes here in a place where I'm not dealing with all the heat. So sorry. Yeah. So all right. Let's get into some lighter stuff now. I was talking about people dying and things. How about we just talk about shitty weather? Okay. So as I alluded to when I started the podcast here, I don't know if you notice, but I do notice that weather forecasts, at least this year it's been crazy how like I work outside sometimes. I do construction for myself. Um, so I sometimes if I'm working outside, I'm doing a fence, deck, things like that. I'll look at the forecast and I'll try and plan my week or my days out based on the forecast. Nah, can't do that anymore. I might as well just read a horoscope. It's about the same. I think the horoscope might actually hit more often than the forecast does lately. Today, for example, here where I am, said overcast, no chance of rain all day. Boom, rain. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. Anyways, I'm going to read this little article by Cosmos. I think it's a little bit older here. So somebody, see, I just did a Google search to see if I was crazy, and apparently I'm not crazy. Other people think that too. But here we go. So whatever the weather, how do they know? So I love to hate my weather app. A missed day out in the sun when it was predicted to rain, an absolute atrocity. Left in the cold without a coat after it was supposed to be balmy. Fire those frauds. Okay, this is a fluff article, but anyways, this is gonna kind of it says some stuff. The last few years in particular seem, at least anecdotally, to be worse than they used to be, and yet a Bureau of Meteorology (BOM) spokesperson told me that they reported a 2% improvement in forecast accuracy for 2021. So what is going on here? People still have this attitude that weather forecasts are always wrong. Well, they are. It's not an attitude. They just are. I could start logging them, and then you would see, but who has time for that? It's really interesting social science question. New Zealand weather and climate researcher James Renwick told me. I can trot out statistics and show graphs of improvements and explain the skill of the forecast. The 1 day forecast is almost perfect all the time now. No, it's not. Lies. The 2 day forecasts are almost as good. Yeah, this is bullshit. You're a liar. Because I know today it wasn't even right. So whatever. And yet people still have this attitude that weather forecasts are always wrong. And there are plenty of conspiracies and theories out there to back up these attitudes. Everything from COVID to earthquakes to climate change can be blamed for why the weather forecast just doesn't seem to be as good as it used to be. You've probably got your own theory picked up from a friend or of a friend. Well, okay, whatever. Um, Sometimes people say, oh, the weather is becoming less predictable. Well, that's not true, says Renwick. Maybe there's more extremes and they're always hard to forecast properly, but the basic patterns are the same as they were thousands of years ago, and they'll be the same 1,000 years into the future. Okay, really? No, they're not. We didn't have weather balloons. We didn't have whatever fucking satellites and shit like that to be able to see to track storms and things like that. So no, they're not the same. We should know when things are going to do certain things. We should know when it's going to be cloudy and when it's not going to be cloudy. That should be pretty easy, but we can't seem to get that right. I can understand maybe if like a system's moving in and you go, well, there's a chance of rain. They don't even say that. They'll say no chance of rain. So I don't know what's happening. Um, they're just getting worse. And typically when people get worse at their job, shouldn't they just get fired? What's this? It's the Chinese using HARP, HARRP. That's making the weather so bad. Yeah, what is that? HARP. Yeah, save me from looking it up, Joe. What's HARP stand for? Um, But yeah, you know what? Just you have one job. You have forecasting. I can't rely on you for that. I can't rely on you to tell me the day of like what's going to happen. There's some fucking clouds moving in. Maybe it'll rain. Maybe it won't rain. You know, I have to go outside and look up or wait till I get wet. Fuck, come on, man. It's uh it's getting absurd at this point. And like I said, if you can't do your job at least relatively well, because if horoscopes are beating you at this point with accuracy, I think it might be time to maybe call it. I don't know. That's just me. All right. Joe, you're not fast enough. H-A-A-R-P. H-A-A-R-P. I'm gonna go look it up. Now you got me curious. H-A-A-R-P. Mm, Heart program is committed to developing world class. What is this? High frequency active auroral research program. Hmm. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Well, I didn't know about this, but I was curious. So you made me look. All right. I'm going to move on to the next thing here. Um, okay. Well, Patrick Roney, if you haven't heard of him, you should look him up. He's good. If you like if you like music that is it's kind of like hybrid music, basically. It would be like pop, kind of a little I don't know, it's got a little bit of country to it, maybe. I don't know. It reminds me, Patrick Roney reminds me completely of John Mayer. Wherever he fits in, that's basically where Patrick Roney fits in. I found him. I just kind of found him. Actually, I found him fairly recently, maybe like a year ago or something. Not even. Actually, my girlfriend introduced me to him. So thanks to you, honey, for introducing me to a good uh, to a good John Mayer uh, not even look alike, John Mayer sound alike. But he's very good. So I've got this little article, his bio pulled up here. I'm gonna read it here. It's got a little bit about him, and then kind of talks about where he started and whatnot. So, soulful pop singer, songwriter, and virtuosic get out of here guitarist in the vein of John Mayer. Look at that. Patrick Droney arrived on the national stage in his early teens after receiving recognition from the Robert Johnson Blues Foundation. After releasing his debut EP, The Other Side, at the age of 16, that's pretty impressive. He cut his teeth in the New York clubs while attending NYU, eventually settling in LA, where he delved into the publishing world and began repping for Fender guitars. The subsequent move to Nashville brought a deal with the Cobalt label, and his first widely distributed single, 2018's Stand and Deliver, that was actually one of the first songs I heard from him, followed by his debut full-length State of the Heart in 2020, which is a great album. Again, I'm a big fan of this guy. Very quickly, a big fan of him, so I do highly recommend you check him out. Born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and raised in Linwood, New Jersey, Droney began playing when he was 6, developing quickly into a guitar prodigy who, at the age of only 13, earned the New Generation Award from the Robert Johnson Blues Foundation. Barely in his teens, Droney soon found himself sharing stages with blues and soul greats like B.B. King and James Brown. A few years later, at 16, he began working with Breaking Benjamin. There's another group I really like. So, frontman Benjamin Burnley produced his first EP released in 2006, The Other Side. Offered a mix of melodic, alt rock, and soulful bluesy pop fare. I hate when they put bullshit words like that together. Anyways, there you go. I won't read the rest. But so he's quite a little phenom, I guess. He's pretty young. I mean, 31, I guess he is now. Making music, and that's funny. Yeah, I am welcome. Um, yeah, so he's just good. He's just good. Honestly, check him out. I can't really speak higher about him because realistically, the writing's really good, the musical composition's really good, and if you are at all a fan of someone like John Mayer, you're gonna love this guy. He's really, really a lot in that vein. Um, it's the kind of music that you could put on, and it's not gonna put anyone off. You know what I mean? It's one of those. It's kind of like kind of like mellow type music in the background where you know, no, it's not like putting rock on or or somebody like myself who hates country. You put on some country, where I'm just gonna want to scratch my ears off of my head. So check them out. Um, yeah, you'll thank me if you like this kind of music. So you're welcome. Yeah. So all right, we're at about 40 minutes now. I'm gonna call it. I'm a little tired. Hurt my finger today too. So I don't know if you can see this here. Let me get to this scene here. I don't know if you can see that there. Can you see that? You know what that is? That was that was a reciprocating saw. I was holding the backside of something and I went to use it and I ripped right through my finger. Luckily my nail saved me. It's if that wasn't for that nail right there, probably could have opened up my finger pretty good. So hey, there he is. Hey Joe, thanks buddy. Thanks for coming into the chat. It was good to talk to you in the chat. I'll see you on the next one, buddy. Yeah, so if you did make it this far, thank you for making it this far. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe. Obviously, like the video. That helps the algorithm push the content. And if you missed any part of the broadcast and you don't want to go back or anything like that, during the week, 5 o'clock, Tuesday through Sunday, they're in segments. So I do 6 segments typically, and 1 segment each day. 5 o'clock drops. So anything you missed, catch it there. Again, share that, like it, do all the things for me. If you do like it, if you don't like it, comment anyway. If you dislike me or you want to say something, comment negative. I don't care. Whatever. Comments are comments. I like them. I'll even respond to the negative ones because I think it's funny. So, but again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, same time, same day.